Hello, I'm April Brown with Zelken Financial Services, LLC, and I'm back with the tip, today's illuminated point. So we're talking about the 30s. So as I mentioned last week in my decade series, where I'll be talking about each decade, this week we're talking about the 30s. So I just want to say I fondly remember my 30s. So what I remember is getting serious about my finances and retirement and my career. However, that was some 30 years ago. So when I think about my 30s, or when I think about the 30s, some things that I don't think that really changed, only the time period it happens in. So let's talk about the 30s. So a couple of things could be happening in this decade. You could be in a relationship or dating or single. We're going to talk about employment. You could be just finding your first real job. If you are, go back to the 20s video from last week, or gaining years in the job you're in currently. And thirdly, I want to talk about asset building. So let's talk about your personal life. If you're in a relationship, finances matter. They matter. Even if you're dating or you're single, have these thoughts in mind. So if you decide to get into a relationship, these are the conversations around finances that should get had. How you approach finances and the other person approaches finances can be very different. However, they need to be discussed and sorted out. So in finances, you don't know what you don't know. So discussion around money and how you view it and how you spend it are key to successfully wading through the landmines of finances. Because, like the 4 top things that will get you divorced, money happens to be one of them in the top 4. So everyone handles their finances differently. As a couple, you may handle them differently. No one size fits all. It depends on what it is that you guys want to do and how you want to lay it out. And so what I will implore you to really think about and be clear on is, however you decide to do it, please understand how your finances work for the two of you. So if someone like me asks you, what are your monthly expenses and your debt going out, you can actually answer the question because it's important. So let's talk about employment. That's the next piece. I'm going to talk about this from the standpoint of you've been working for a while, and you've already enrolled in a qualified plan. And so if you have, remember a couple of things. If you're in a qualified plan, don't leave money on the table. And what do I mean by that? Meaning, if your employer offers a match, take it. It's free money. Take it. If they put in 3% or 5% or whatever the percentage is that they'll match, that's you doubling your money without you having to pay 6% if they're offering 3%. So they put in 3%, you put in 3%, take the match. It's doubling your money. So who would not take advantage of that? That's what I mean by don't leave money on the table. So having said that, just think about this. With defined contribution plans, because that is what qualified plans are, you are responsible for your retirement. I said it last week. With the Secure 2.0 Act, it is clear, very clear. The government wants you to invest in your financial future. They want you to invest in your future for retirement. That's what they're wanting, because they do not want to be responsible for taking care of you in your retirement years. That's clear. The other piece is raises. So as you're working, you're going to get raises through the years. So my question is, do you want to put that raise that you get into your qualified plan, or should you divert that money somewhere else? Looking into cash value life insurance. I talked about the Merit plan from last week, how that can be your blue point. So remember, Merit stands for mortgage, estate planning, retirement, insurance, and taxes. So part of that plan is insurance, so cash value life insurance. And I'm talking about what I call IULs, which is Index Universal Life. So maybe instead of putting that money into your 401k, you divert that money into that cash value life insurance policy. So you've got a couple of things working in your favor. Food for thought. And what I also want you to remember too is in being employed and gaining your years, don't forget about your benefits. And so health, dental, vision, if you need the vision, I needed it. But anyway, they're important and they really help your quality of life because they matter. If you can stay healthy and go to work, that means everything. And so just look at your needs when you're thinking about these things and or your family and determine what is essential for you when you're thinking about your benefits. The last thing I want to talk about, and this is the third thing, is talking about asset building. So during this time, you may be thinking about home ownership in your foreseeable future. And if you are, that requires planning and setting aside money for that purchase because that's a major purchase. And so two things, remember, in terms of wealth building, you build wealth through your qualified plans and you're also building wealth through home ownership. So when you're planning really should center around these: credit rating. So if you want the best interest rate, your credit score has to be high. So that means if your credit is not great, you got to work on it. You got to build it. Another piece is know what your salary will purchase for you and know what you are comfortable in terms of spending for your monthly mortgage. So that's really important. So if you're going to do home ownership, you want to know how much money or how far your money can take you and how much you really want to spend on the monthly payments, because you want to know that you'll be able to cover that and have no issues. And so that boils down to budget. Been talking about that. That's a constant. Having a budget, because if you can understand what you got coming in and what's going out, then when you're doing your planning for home ownership, you can incorporate that. And the last piece of this is taxes. So you need to understand what the tax implication will be for you. As opposed from moving from a renter to a homeowner, there are tax implications. And so you should know what they are and how they're going to affect you, because let's be clear, taxes are not created equal, period. And if you know a CPA or you have a CPA or you have a tax person that you use, really sit down and talk to them about, okay, I want home ownership. What does this mean for me in terms of tax implication, in terms of me purchasing a home, and what is that, and what are the effects and so on and so forth. So have that conversation, because that'll be key for you being successful in the home ownership piece. And so those are my 3 points in reference to the 30s and just kind of, what I see and what I hear. And otherwise, I hope you got something out of that. I am April Brown with Zelken Financial Services, LLC. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And until the next time, have a great day.